Hello everyone, this is Alisha Costanzo and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about a book tag. It is the first time I have ever been tagged by somebody else, and so this is exciting to me. So first I want to say happy birthday to Krypto because this is a tag for his birthday. Happy 40th. Sorry you can't go out and party. Maybe you're one like me who is probably going to spend my 40th birthday in my house, even though it's 5 years from now. We aren't getting any younger tag. So I really like that they say these were written to maybe the raunchy adult birthday cards, because those are the ones that I always get for my family. Alright, so question number 1. Well, it's proven too many birthdays can kill you. The amount of cake we can eat is still under debate. Name the most recent book that gave you a sugar or book high. Well, recently I just started reading The Raven Boys as suggested by Books and Lala. The first two books. I rushed through both of those. Oh my gosh. And I'm waiting for book 3 and just, oh my god, I can't stop thinking about it. I love Ronan so much. I mean, I like Gansey, I like Blue, I like Adam and their whole thing, but I really love Ronan and his little bird chainsaw. Oh my gosh. So super cute. Loved it. There are a few others that have gotten me really ramped up, but one of them I'm saving for something different. So currently, Sugar Highs, The Raven Boys, and Dream Thieves. Question number 2. Sometimes we get older and wider instead of older and wiser. Name the longest book you have ever read. Well, I actually have that one with me, and it is Outlander. This book, how do you say her name? Diana Gabald. Y'all know what Outlander is about. They made a TV show about it, which I haven't seen. I haven't gotten past this book. Honestly, what does this, 850 pages? So yes, 850 pages. And I had a few that I was going through, like Ashron, which is 728 pages, and that's actually the name of one of my cats. He was named after the best book, the best character in the Sri Lankan series, the Dark Hunter series. Breaking Dawn from Twilight was 756. The 7th Harry Potter was 759, and then there was this one, which thankfully I got for free because I didn't enjoy this book very much, honestly. Could have shaved off 150 pages of it if I were the editor. There was a lot of repeating the same things over and over again. The domestic abuse I wasn't a fan of. The going back in time and cheating on your husband. Like, if I went back in time, that wouldn't happen. I'd do anything I could to get back, and I didn't connect with the character. I didn't like her. I didn't like most of the people in this book. I didn't like most of the circumstances in the book. So it was a big fat, I'd probably give it a 3, 2.5 or 3 if I were rating it. But yeah, longest book I've ever read, Outlander. Probably an unpopular opinion, but what you gonna do? Alright, question number 3. The best part about pictures is that they're always a younger version of you. Name a book that you enjoyed more the first time you read it than the second. If you never reread, why not? Okay, so I rarely reread books because I have so many and I wouldn't like to actually read all of my books and all of the books in general. I do reread for specific purposes. Like when I teach a book, I will reread it, and I did an entire class section about vampire literature specifically, so I reread Marked and The Last Vampire and Twilight, and I watched Interview with the Vampire. Those were my 4 texts. Well, one of those, Marked by PC and Kirsten Kath, they are Oklahomans like me. Well, I'm kind of a Yoki. I'm a Yankee transplant to Oklahoma, but I've been here 10 years. I can consider myself an Okie, right? But they're 2 Okies from Broken Arrow by Tulsa, and I remember loving the book the first time that I read it. And it still has merit. There are still parts of it that I really find fascinating. And maybe if I reread it now without remembering a lot of the things that happened during it, I might enjoy it again. But it was okay the second time, but it was definitely something new for me the first time I read it. So I have the book, but if you've seen the state of my office at all, you know it's buried somewhere, probably in a box. Probably actually in the shed in the boxes that I have out there. Too many books. I have 1,500 books, by the way, guys. Not enough space for them. So number 4. As you get older, you must learn to never skip a bathroom break before jumping in a car ride or before class. Name a book you read in very few sittings. Have you ever walked into the bathroom holding a book and then blindly fumbled for the door handle? Yes, I absolutely have. And I totally can vouch for you never skip a bathroom break ever. If there's a bathroom, I'm going in it because I got a walnut bladder. I get made fun of for it all the time. So I actually have two for this one. The first one is Independent Study. Here we go. By Joelle, I'm not going to say her name right, Charabanyo. And I would give this a 3.5 to a 4. It wasn't that I was completely engrossed in it, although I was pretty darn engrossed in it, but I read this on a train. I typically travel to New York every summer, and I used to take a 48 to 54 hour train ride both ways. So 54 hours there and then 54 hours again back. And I remember getting up from my seat, and I had a window seat, and I told the guy, you can spread out, I'm gonna be gone for a while, I'm gonna go work, I'm gonna go read, I've got a book. And so I went and I came back like 6 hours later, and he goes, finished with your book? And I went, yep. And he goes, really? I'm like, oh yeah, I finished it. It was pretty good. I am going to read the next one either by the end of this month or next month. I have it on hold currently at the library, and I'm interested to know what happens, but I did not like the way it ended. And I called the ending so much. So I'm hoping book 3 is that Redeemer, as I really enjoyed the first book. The Testing, if you didn't know, really good book. Independent Study, not bad. Going to read Graduation Day soon. So there's one of them, but I think that's mostly circumstance rather than the book itself. And so the other book I have for this is The Cruel Prince. And I know it is so buzzed all over the place, but the funny thing is, for one of my giveaways that I did last year for Little Red and the Surly Bear, I asked people for suggestions of what their favorite book was, and The Cruel Prince was on that. And so I've been looking at that for a long time, and then finally I saw it on my library, an audiobook, and I went, alright, I've heard about this, I'm gonna give audiobooks a try. And I consumed the shit out of that book. Like, it went with me to the bathroom, it went with me to the shower, it cooked with me anytime I could do something where I didn't have to use the creation part of my brain or being able to dissect words and stuff, and I was just doing other things. It was on. I love the book. I'm on book 2 now, and I'm getting a little bit more slowly into it, probably because I've read like 5 books between, but it's slowly consuming me again. The Wicked King slowly consuming me again. It's just, that's my kind of story. So that was my other option for the Sugar High too, so that's why. Yes. Okay, number 5. Don't let old age get you down, because it's harder to get you back up these days. Name a book you had to put down and why. That's so funny because I talk about that shit all the time. By the way, lifting weights really helps with that. So I have 2 books for this too. Sorry. One of which is a book that I plan on picking back up, and that is The Trials of Apollo. I really love, how do you say this? Rick Riordan's voice. The thing that made me put this down is because I did not have enough background information. I've never read Percy Jackson books, I've never seen the movies, and I just felt like I didn't know enough to keep going, and I was missing something crucial, so I've put it down currently, but I really do love the voice, and I do plan on getting back to it. I need to at least like watch the Percy Jackson movies. My son has the books, and he loves the books, so I should really try reading them too, but yeah, I haven't. Unfortunately, I put it down. I will get back to it though. I will. And my other one is Paranormalcy by Kirsten White. Ooh, I have another book of hers on my TBR. Interesting. I didn't notice the connection there for a while. But I got halfway through it, and it just... It has a lot of the stuff that I really enjoy in it, like this weird underground kind of rebellion type of thing, government facility where there's paranormal people and creatures with abilities, and this girl has been there for her whole life. She's pretty much lives in this facility with these government people, and she keeps talking to one of the other creatures that they're keeping prisoner right now, and of course there's a budding romance, and I'm into that kind of stuff. There was just, it didn't inspire me at all. I don't really care for the main character. I don't really care for her personality, I think, is the problem. So, yeah, I'm not going to finish it. I'll let you know how I feel about her other book that I apparently have on my TBR, though. So, let's get on to our next question because I'm a weirdo. 6. Age isn't how long you've been alive, it's how many lives you've lived. What book genres have you been wanting to try outside of your comfort zone? So, I read a lot of horror, a lot of paranormal fantasy, urban fantasy, erotica. Something I would really like to get into is more sci-fi. I've been enjoying sci-fi, so I don't know if that really counts. I would like to read more high fantasy. I'm not a big high epic fantasy type of person, so I would really like to learned to enjoy things like The Lord of the Rings or something like Game of Thrones, but it's not really my thing most of the time. So I would also like to get into thrillers. I don't think I've ever tried thrillers other than when I was like 17 or 18 and I was just not, my brain wasn't developed enough fictionally, like I didn't have enough background information to understand most of what was going on, the nuances of the characters and whatnot. I do remember reading a thriller and like forcing myself to plow through it. I put it down 3 or 4 times and then I hit the last 50 pages and I remember enjoying it. I don't remember the book otherwise. It's just terrible. But I think now I could get more into a thriller, but I have to be picky and choosy because I can predict endings of books pretty well because that's what I do for a living is I read, I write, and I edit. And I just have a lot of experience with stories and how they function, and that's what's scaring me, but I still want to read more thrillers. And of course, I always say that I want to read more classics, even though I hate literary fiction so much. I hate most literary fiction, but there are just some classics that I feel like I need to read at some point. Like, I've never read Hamlet. I've never seen Hamlet. I should probably experience that at some point. I have read a lot of Shakespeare and watched a lot of Shakespeare. I took a Shakespeare class. My favorite that I've repeated several times is Othello. I love Othello. I'm not a big fan of Romeo and Juliet, by the way. There are a few of the comedies that I like, though. I loved King Lear. I remember watching King Lear. We watched the play. We would read the play and then we'd watch the play in class. And people were freaking out because the daughters kissed their father on the lips. And I'm like, I kissed my dad on the lips, and not in a romantic way, by the way. It's just a cultural, Italians, like, he always kissed his mom and dad on the lips. Nana Nanu, I kissed them on the lips. That's just how, and like, I don't kiss my mom on the lips because she's weird about it, but I kiss my dad on the lips, and I don't think that's all that weird. And I still remember that very specifically, talking about that in class, and everybody is like, who's this weirdo? And I'm like, it's cultural. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I'm reminiscing about Shakespeare class. And I also had surgery in the middle of that semester, and I remember I would be the one who would help my teacher put on the plays, put on the movies for class, because she was very anti-technology, did not understand how it worked at all, and this was just a DVD and a projector screen. And I was the only student to get a nickname in that class because she called us all, Miss Costanzo, Mr. Johnson, etc. And I got to be called Koso because when I came back after surgery, she went, Koso, you can never leave me again. Nobody would help me while you were gone. I was like, sure. Although I'm still pissed off I got a B on my Othello paper because nobody else had ever made the connection that I made, so therefore I must have been wrong. Anyways, I'm not going to rant about that anymore. So classics, thrillers, high fantasy. Those are some of the things that I would like to get into. If you saw me try to read Lord of the Flies, you'll know I struggle with literary fiction and classics. I'm not a fan in general, which we'll get to in a minute because another question's got me there. Alright, number 7. Life gets worse the older you get. Luckily, you don't have much left. Name a book that slowly turned sour for you, but you finished anyways. Were you glad you stuck it out? Blood Ring. It was on my TBR for February. It took me a long time to get through this, and I read this because my husband suggested it to me, and I understand why. He enjoys it. There's just so much in it. There was way too much info dumpy stuff. There was tension where there didn't need to be tension. I don't feel like she learned anything, and that bothers me. This was a 3 read for me. I did stick it out. I'm glad I finished it just to say that I finished it and be able to talk to my husband about it, but I don't think I'm going to continue the series. And he won't tell me what happens, which is frustrating, but yep, I'm not a fan. Okay, question number 8. Peer pressure seems to decrease as you get older. Not really. Where did all of your friends go? Name a book that you checked out because of peer pressure. Were you happy that you tried it? And I don't have it with me, but I do have the big collection of Jane Austen, and it's Pride and Prejudice is my answer for this. The funny thing about this is I love Pride and Prejudice adaptations. I love it. I've seen every single one you can think of. I even watched the YouTube vlog version of it. Loved it. My favorite version is the Keira Knightley version, though. It's the first one I ever saw, so it's kind of the one I base everything else off of, and I know it's chopped all shit, and because I've seen all of them and I knew the story and I liked the way that they cut out a lot of the boring stuff that's in the novel, I didn't enjoy reading it at all. But that's back to that classic literary fiction thing. I don't tend to like literary fiction, so it's not surprising to me that I didn't like it. Anytime I try to read one of those, you must read this if you are an educated English person, which, by the way, I am an English professor. I have a master's degree in English. I have 2 bachelor's degrees, one in communications, rhetoric, and English. And I have not read most of the things that people say you need to read to be an educated English person. Well, guess what? But what you read is not as important as reading, or the amount that you read. And I resent people who tell me that you have to read the shit that they say is important versus the shit that you enjoy. So, I am also that person, and I've always been that person. I'm very much my father in this way. Anytime that I got assigned a novel to read in school, I think I finished one of them. And that's excluding college. I did finish quite a few of those. But high school reading, I never finished To Kill a Mockingbird. I never finished Lord of the Flies, which I finally finished here recently. I never finished Time Machine. I never finished Night, which is also on my list. I am not going to ever read Time Machine. I do not enjoy H.G. Wells' writing at all. I hated War of the Worlds, so... But I did finish it because I had to read it in college. But I'm just not going to read things that don't interest me. Most of the time I will just toss them out unless I have like a specific, I'm doing this for a reason. And even some of the ones that I read in college I didn't finish. There's actually a thriller on that list that I would really like to finish because I got to a point where all of the 4 threads started to mix together and was interested by it. But school. So I didn't actually get to finish it because you tried reading 35 books in a semester. You try it while writing a book and writing short stories and writing essays and taking 3 classes, which is more than full time, by the way. Ugh. And having 3 jobs. I had 3 jobs the first year of my master's degree program because I'm ridiculous and I'm going to stop babbling about myself because none of this matters. The point is, I hate classic literature. But peer pressure to read Pride and Prejudice, I actually got a third of the way through it, reading it word for word, as one would do when reading a book, before I started skimming for Darcy's name and just reading those sections. I consider it read, because I'm never going to read any more than that. So, yeah, Pride and Prejudice. Glad I can mark it off my list, but I was not happy reading it. And finally, friends don't let friends get older alone. Tag people. I have to think about this because a lot of the people that I watch are big time booktubers, so I don't know if any of the people are going to see this. I'd love to tag Books and Lala. I'd love to tag Jessica Williamson, who does planning, writing, and book related videos. I love watching her. Totally would love to hear her opinion on these if she has not already done this tag. And I just want to make sure that I say thank you to Casey from Lost in a Bookcase. Thank you for tagging me so much and sending people to my channel. I really appreciate it. I love seeing your comments on my stuff every single time I upload something, and I always love watching your videos too. So thank you so much for tagging me and including me. I really appreciate it. Which means, you guys, if you don't know Casey, you should definitely go check out her channel. It is popped down there in the description box below, and I'll put it up in the eye for you too. So go check her out. She's so adorable and so funny and so sassy, and I love it. So definitely check out her channel. Thanks for coming and listening to me babble about books and Shakespeare and classics and Pride and Prejudice and how I don't like to be told what to do. Which, by the way, is why I am the teacher, is because I don't like being told what to do. I am a control freak. That's why I am the publisher, the editor, the English professor. So yeah. Alright, anyways, happy birthday, Krypto. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'd love to do another tag like this here soon, so maybe I'll put those on my list of things to do. But, so since this is my extra video, it should show up on Friday because I'm going to have my Writing Like Ursula K. Le Guin for the day. And if you don't know who that is, a classic sci-fi writer that I do enjoy quite a bit. Her, Margaret Atwood, Joyce Carol Oates, like those people. Short stories, though, go figure. I can do classic literature and literary fiction in shorts. But let me know what books would fit these prompts for you guys. I'd love to know more about you. Anyways, I'm babbling. Thanks for stopping by. Bye, guys.